Hello, everybody. This is Lisa, One Singing Lady Gilliam, here with your LRG Random but Real Wednesday Word on Word Wednesday. As it seems like almost every week, we have another technical difficulty. So Angela is going to try to work that out. While I just kind of go ahead and introduce, and so prayerfully she will be able to, as you can see, she's there, but we're not able to hear anything. So she's going to try to connect with her phone and see if that works. But thank you for your patience. While you are waiting, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube page, youtube.com/1SingingLady. And you'll be able to ask questions of myself and Angela while we are on this broadcast live. And you can also go back. We want you also to please share with other people. Hello, Pat. Patricia Goins is on here. Thanks so much for joining.
Hi, Pat.
So, basically, let's get the whatever out the way. So please, when you go to like the YouTube page, please subscribe, please share, please like this. It does help myself reach the goals of helping other people when it comes to mental health. And let's see if you're able to hear. Let me move this one. Okay. Okay. Try to say something now, Angela.
Testing. How's that working out, Lisa?
Still nothing. No sound. So try to work that out while you all are going to just pretend this is you all are part of a tech rehearsal. And I do believe, and for those of y'all that pray, because I know Angela has something to really share, and I believe it's going to help a lot of people. And you all know, anybody that's saved knows that Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and that's what he's trying to do. But we're going to work this out today, okay?
Yes.
So while she tries to figure that out, I'm going to continue on. You can also, follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. You can even see this live on Twitch right now, and my Facebook page. So I hope that you all will follow, share, like, and subscribe to all of those pages. I like to stay connected with people, and it does help me reach my goal. I have the CD Depend out. Would love for you all to go to my website, but you can see scrolling at the bottom and purchase CD or download any other music while you're there. So let's see. Let's hopefully this will work out. We've been trying the last few minutes to see if it works, and I'm not exactly sure. So that's why you're seeing so much. Just please be patient with us as we try to figure this out.
Mm-hmm. It's already all right.
So I met Angela at a church I used to attend. I'll leave it at that. And
we used to attend.
Also a vocalist. I think that's one of the reasons why we connected. And so every now and then we'll, catch up and talk about different things. And so she was sharing with me some of her stories as well. And so I thought that it would be beneficial for those who were watching or who usually come, and join me on Wednesdays to be able to hear what she has to say. So try to speak, Angela, again. Let's see.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, Lisa.
Is your sound all the way up? It's nothing's coming on this side at all.
Testing 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hello, testing.
So that's muted. And
testing.
Is there anybody there that can help you?
Testing. Can you hear me? Testing. It's working. It's
Okay, so can someone that's watching just let me know if you are able to hear Angela? Maybe it's just me. It shouldn't be though. Everything should be working on my end.
Hello.
Patricia, can you let me know?
Hi, Patricia. Can you hear me?
I've never tried to stop the entire broadcast and start again. I feel like if I do that, it will completely log us out and not allow me to do it on the same broadcast. So let me just try to see what I can do. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Just bear with us. I need you to also check your computer, Angela, and just make sure that the phone, the sound, the video is definitely connected because I can see you, but make sure that
Yes.
the microphone is actually connected and on.
Yes, it's on. It's picking up, but it's not
Still
giving.
nothing.
Yeah,
And
it's.
if you're on
Can you hear me
Apple,
now?
you need to be on Safari. And if you're on Android, it should be on Chrome.
I need to be on Safari.
Okay, so she said, okay, thanks. It's working. It's just on my end for some reason. So just give me a second. That's weird. Okay, hold on one second. Say something, Angela.
Testing.
It was my fault, y'all.
Hey, that's all right, sister.
I apologize. Guess what? I had it on mute. Okay. The
People
earphones
laughing.
were off. I don't care. I'm glad it works. All right.
Amen.
All right. My bad. I apologize.
No problem. No problem.
I don't believe me. I do. I apologize. Thank y'all so much. I
Yes.
appreciate your patience. Okay, we can get into it now. Yay. Because I was
Yay.
happy. We are
I
going
was gonna try to get in back on the computer so I won't have to hold this phone.
Okay.
Can you see and hear me now from the computer?
Yeah, just one second. Let me kick you out of the hold on. Add stream. Okay, say something.
Hello, Lisa.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I explained how I met you.
Girly. Yes.
Please tell me who you are, or tell the there are listeners, but they're watchers too. So just tell everybody who you are in your own words.
I'm still figuring that out. Okay.
We both are. That's a good answer. That is a good answer.
And that's a true answer.
Like right now, who are you?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out, but I'm Angela Young now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I typed in that. I'm so used to Gordon, but that has since changed. I'm a mother of 3 grown children, and I have 1 grandson. I'm a woman of God. I am an executive administrator by profession. And I attend City of Praise Family Ministries here in Landover, Maryland. And I am the daughter of Mamie and James. I am the sister of 7 siblings. And we are all proud Washingtonians. Well, the first 4 were born in South Carolina, and the last 4 of us were born here in DC. So when people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm a Washingtonian by way of South Carolina. So, but that's me, and a fun-loving woman, easygoing, love people, love you. You know, just looking forward to tonight. Just looking forward to sharing tonight with hopes to just have some real talk on this topic. So, yeah.
Okay. So for those of you all who don't know, I started this Random But Real in September. Well, I've been posting all year, and I usually just post by myself, but it's so much fun when you have other people to join you and talk about things. And it also lets people know that you are not by yourself, that other people are going through some things too. And this topic is not an easy topic to discuss. Again, that's why I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Tell other people, because sometimes it's easier for other people to receive things when they're watching it and hearing it from somebody else other than yourself. Mm-hmm. And then they're not going through it by themselves. But I started out in September because that's Suicide Prevention Month. And I wanted to, I've been a mental health advocate for years. Prior to that, I was a counselor. I'm not counseling right now. But I'm in counseling, but I'm not a counselor per se. So this is not specific counseling advice. This is, right, we said it's mental health, a beautiful anointing. And so this is not specific advice from a counselor. This is a personal take on what's been happening. in one person's life. And so a lot of people that are going to watch today and may watch, the live feed or may watch the recorded copy knows Angela and knows her family. And so I know that it takes a lot to be able to share your truth. And so we are going to step in and ride this wave. And if you all have questions, go ahead and ask them. I usually don't share what, the subject matter is before the show, is because I want people to want to know or just want to be a part of it, so that they can, sometimes they'll find out something different that they didn't know, they weren't aware of. And so the basis of it is always mental health. I always ask, do you either ask my guests, do you have any mental health issues, or does someone in your family have any mental health issues or diagnosis? And if so, what is it and how are you handling it? So there's your question.
It's me. I just haven't been diagnosed. No, but listen,
sometimes
that's probably most of us, right? But yes, I do have, on a serious note, I do have family. Yes. That have been diagnosed. The unfortunate thing is I'm still on the fence of knowing exactly because what the diagnosis is, because when they are an adult, you are not privy to any information unless they share. And that is something we have not gotten to the place where my loved one wants to share that. So we're in the dark, but we're expected to care for them. And we willingly care for them. But that's frustrating, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So how are you dealing with it? How are you dealing with the frustration of the not knowing exactly what the diagnosis is and knowing that there is something, but you're not exactly sure how to approach it other than prayer? I know that you've been praying. I do know that.
Yeah. Then sometimes I wonder if God is listening.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I don't cry on this segment. Lord, help me.
We can cry together. If you go back and look at the videos, we might be crying together. So it's okay. This is random but real for a reason. And if you don't want to answer, then you could just say, you know what, I can't answer it. We don't have to go into like names, which is why I didn't ask. Although I know it's not about that. It doesn't matter who it is. You know what I mean? Just the fact that you're dealing with it and you're learning how to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm learning how. I don't know how to deal with it. I'm learning how. It's a day-to-day thing, Lisa, because it's so unpredictable. I will go this far and say, especially when it's one of your children. I'll give you that much. And we already as parents have to battle and protect their lives when there are no challenges. But when they're dealing with something that they are not familiar with and you are not, how I feel helpless a lot of times. It is only the victory in the word of God that carries me. I will say that. I wonder if God is listening. I know God is listening. And when I tell you that God has carried me and my entire family, and on top of that, dealing with that, I'm not alone. I have a praying family that fortunately is familiar with spiritual warfare. But to accept the fact that it's a medical condition, that's new to the family. And especially when you've seen miracles and you had prayers answered, we're at the place to where we are now, thank God, at a place to where we accept that this is a real medical condition that can lead to productive lives. It's not always, what's the scripture that talks about God's a God? There is what is it? Lisa, it's about
it'll come back.
It'll come to me. But our end is not always a disaster. God gives us an expected end that is good. So the level of faith you have to have to believe that. It is daunting. It is antagonizing. Because it's so unpredictable. You have to always be on guard. You lose sleep.
And your peace too. It's I deal with it for my child, but I deal with it for me because I have,
Yes.
One of the hardest things, and we've talked about this a little bit. Well, let me just say this. A beautiful anointing said, and I've been showing you. So if you'll see me put things up on the screen, it seems it would be hard to offer the right support, not knowing exactly what you're dealing with. And Patricia said, it's not easy watching your loved one deal with any mental issues. I went through it with my child, but God. So I don't know that if you knew that, but that's another person that you can talk to, someone that you know.
Excellent.
And so I think, first of all, that Christians feel like that's not going to happen to us. But that's a lie. It does.
Yes, it does.
And I try to get people to understand that mental illness and physical illness are still illnesses, and they're not separate. Just one might happen more in the mind than the other more in the body. But the last I checked, your mind is in your body.
Yes, it is.
And, so in order to actually be open enough to talk about this, we have to actually be open enough to talk about it.
Simple as that. Yes. Yes.
And that does not necessarily mean that I'm going to agree with what it is that you say, or you're going to agree with what it is that I say. But if we don't have a conversation about it, then how will we ever get a place of resolve? And so that's why I appreciate you even willing. And I know at first you were just like, and some people are like,
I was like, Lisa, are you going to submit the questions beforehand, or is I can prepare? I have my script ready.
I don't know what God's going to ask or lead on my heart to say. I never do. That's why it's also random but real. But I promise you, everybody that's been on the platform that has shared their story, it's not only helped them, but it's helped somebody else. Because this is another way you might not have told a family member or a friend. You could just send them to the video.
Yes.
You don't even have to say, and they can come back with whatever questions or whatever, it is that they kind of want to find out. So how you're losing sleep, you're praying. What else are you doing as you wait, in a sense, on a diagnosis, a specific diagnosis?
NAMI, National Association Alliance.
Mental illness, yes. Also.
Yes. And so I'm a part of a peer group there, just finished an 8-week course for that, to better understand what my loved one is living with, how to have the support. There are other family members. Unfortunately, there are mothers. Fathers, come on, get in there and help your wives, the mothers of your children in this season of your child's life or your loved one's life. But unfortunately, the classroom was full of only women. And so, but you're provided this 8-week course that gives you better understanding of the different types of illnesses. I mean, some of this stuff is as simple as chemical imbalance in the brain.
So can you just say some of them out that you talked about? Just
say it again.
Some of the mental illnesses that you all talked about, random. That's a generic question.
Yes, they are. There's so many. You see the beautiful binder they provided us with. Yeah. And hopefully, Lisa, before we go, because I'm coming from the caregiver side tonight, correct? Mm-hmm. And I do have a worksheet here that I do want to share with those of you who are caregivers, because what's important, you said, how am I dealing with it? Self-care, self-love, doing things to make sure that I stay in a place of peace, to make sure I stay healthy and my mental. Because when this first started taking place 3 years ago, 2017, I know, there's no doubt, I know I was losing my mind right along with my loved one. I'm telling you. And it's nothing like feeling your sanity slipping from your very being. I mean, you can actually feel it happening. And it's only the grace of God, prayers. I mean, we had nights, my family, the young family, I'm telling you, when the episodes would happen, it was a 911 call. I'm just going into these details because I want people to know what happens. Your loved ones go into these episodes. You got to call put out a bat signal. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning. And you're praying and you're speaking life and you're trying to coerce and convince, and you're trying to lift up the person and calm the person, and you're because sometimes the episodes can be violent. They your loved one becomes disconnected, detached from reality, And that is something to contend with on this own, because when they detach from reality, their reality is something totally different than what's real. So to
Absolutely.
sit there and watch your loved one contend with that, and in their world is real, that is hard. And like I said, when you've birthed them, that is even more devastating. So I want people to know that mental health, mental illness is real. Get the help. Your loved one is going to need you to stick by them. Their medications, they don't work. You have to get a ledger, create if taking it in the morning doesn't work, it causes them to sleep all day. They can't work. This loved one of mine wasn't a slouch, sis. She was away in school
Mhm.
and wanted to come home. We still
Right,
don't
it
know.
throws them off balance. It's almost like a puzzle piece, and you're trying to
Yeah,
see the piece
yeah,
that's supposed to go here, but it's not exactly right. So then you have to find a different puzzle piece to fit
yes.
and figure out which medication works and when. But yes,
Exactly. And when you're a Bible believer, faith walker, it's hard for you because you accept that it's a medical condition, and and you believe that the word of God is true, and nothing's happening.
Mhm.
So you're not just dealing with uh, making sure you're there for them, dealing with the losing sleep and losing your peace, and uh, being accountable. You already dealing with your own stuff. You already working hard as a caregiver to keep up with your own life issues that are happening. I mean, we have COVID. COVID has come and shaken the place up. I mean, it has shaken the world up. So you're dealing with that, and you're working for your job. You don't know if it's going to be there today or tomorrow because the economy has shifted. So you've got your issues. You got your relationship issues, yourself. Then you have this loved one that you have to care for almost like a baby, and they don't realize it at the same time. They have no idea. That's why you have to hang in there with them and just take it day by day. Find ways of self-care, like here in this workbook that they gave us. It says, for you caregivers out there, when you have a loved one that has a mental health condition, be gentle to yourself. I do a lot of self-talk, a lot of positive self-talk, because there's a lot of guilt that comes with when you have a loved one one of your children, and they're going through this.
Tell me
Uh,
why. Tell me why it's guilt, Angela.
because you begin to assess your parental um, techniques, or how you were a parent, the decisions you made as a parent. Um, you just have all of these ideas roaming through your head. If I had done it this way, maybe this would not have happened. If I had done it, if I didn't get this divorce, if I hadn't separated from my husband, if I hadn't done this, if I hadn't moved or relocated, if I hadn't stopped them from seeing this particular person, if I hadn't done this, if I hadn't done that, if I had said yes and not no, if I had said go and if I had not said stay home, but let them go. I mean, just all of these things are going through your head. And also, if it's a loved one who was a go-getter, creative, lover of people, full of life, all that is snatched from them. I mean, snuffed.
Mhm.
And you tell people who are depressed that they should be able to just bounce back and get up. They can't. They just can't. And that is real. And you got to have mercy on them. I'm telling you, you have to have mercy, a lot of mercy on them, because they really are doing their best. And you have to be there for. And I'm here. I'm here, and I'm honored to serve. I'm honored. I'm thank God for Nami. I thank God for you, Lisa. Your passion, Lisa. I would not have even been conscious about suicidal thoughts if you hadn't started.
Celebrate
Don't you
life.
know none of it save a
I'm
life?
sorry. Celebrate life. I'm sorry.
Celebrate life
Yeah.
many years ago. You know how many people walking around here ignorant? You know how many people, if you haven't gone through a thing, sometimes it's impossible for you to even be conscious of that very thing. If you haven't lost a mother, you have no idea what it's like to lose a mother. If you haven't lost a father or lost a job, you have no idea. I can love you,
And
Lisa.
all
Say,
that compounded
oh,
makes
and
it
all
work.
that compounded on top
Yes.
of everything else People who are depressed and suffer with mental illness, they really can't pull themselves out. You're running around here talking about children need a village. People with mental illness need a village. Okay?
So, our people.
Lisa,
It's something that you said real quick.
Yes.
I wanted to touch on, and the reason why I asked you why, like I'm not asking you to be facetious, because I think a lot of people think that it's something you can do, and I want people to understand that it's nothing you can do. If a person is going to have a mental illness, it's not like, other than substance abuse. When a person has substance abuse and they end up, it turns to a mental illness. That's completely different, because usually they were taking the substance abuse and that was their decision to take it, and then that ended up translating into a mental illness. That can happen. You don't believe me, but other than that, it's really not anything. There abuse. Yes, that can happen. But as a parent, and knowing you, I know you were a good parent. It was nothing that you could do to change that outcome. And I still believe, and it seems crazy because I'm a person who has been diagnosed with depression and anxiety and PTSD and acute stress. So, at different points in my life, and I know, and I've been through stuff. I've been raped and molested and sexually abused. And, like you said, finding my mother, dead, being in the room when she took her last breath, finding my grandmother deceased. My dad died my week before my first year, or 2 weeks before my year in high school, my senior in high school. I have been through hell in my life, and I keep on getting up, but there are days where I don't want to, so that the pressure you're talking about, I understand, because I've experienced it. And it's very frustrating to me that there are platforms like this, for real, free, that you can be aware of, but we don't do it until somebody that we know or love gets. I do appreciate that you supported me from jump. Whether you share it, you would tell other people. And I'm like, that one thing actually does help bring awareness to somebody else, because a lot of people go through this in silence.
Yes.
We're saying they deal with it. Thank God you have praying family. But everybody,
there are people out there by themselves.
You have people that were willing to stand there with you and by you, but everybody doesn't have that. And all it could take is one incident to take you over the edge. I would have never thought, and I've said this several times, that I would have had the reaction that I had when my mom died, because I've had so many deaths in my life.
Yes, trauma.
Still going through, the trauma.
Trauma.
And I don't know when it's going to be okay. Sleep nights. Yeah, I know what that's like. I don't sleep. I go to bed at 6, some 7, 8, 9. I might get up if I have work, 2 days later, like we're off this week or whatever, but my rhythm is completely off. And so I appreciate that you say, that we can't, because a lot of people think that anybody with a diagnosis is weak-minded. And that's it's not that we want to stay in that place.
Yes.
And because I know, the person, I know everything that you're saying is true.
Yes.
And so I can imagine having to see or go through that experience. You're like, this is not the person that I raised.
Yes.
It happened.
Yes. And I'm mad.
Right.
And I'm mad. And now that I've experienced this, I'm mad for the world who have to deal with this. Nobody should have to deal with this. No one. And back to what you were saying, when people say you should be able to shake yourself out of depression and things like that, or your medicine should work. Take your medicine, that should work. No, we have to change our medication levels when we're diabetic, when we have high blood pressure.
Absolutely. All physical illness. Exactly.
When we got people who got cancer in their body now.
Mm-hmm.
It takes medication to help them to continue to live. Mm-hmm. Same thing with mental illness. And it's not funny.
And people will go to the internet and look up those illnesses and find out ways to help them. But you say mental illness, especially in the church, it's like something's wrong with you.
Yes.
Enough.
And they think if they simply lay hands.
Absolutely. Not to say that doesn't work. It does.
Yes.
But I've had my pastor has been on here. Another friend of mine who's a minister has been on here. Like, there's very few ministers I know who have actually partnered with me and believe and understand that the two are not separate, but they're collective. You're right.
Yes.
If you take medicine for your headache, why wouldn't you take it for depression?
Right.
Or schizophrenia?
Yes.
Why are you telling people that something's, wrong with them? And I used to use the word crazy. I try not to use that word because I that is, it actually makes it seem like, because the person is not crazy because they happen to have a mental illness. That's not what it is. And instead of downplaying and hurting your family, why don't you support them? Find ways, find support groups like NAMI, call the suicide prevention hotline. Find the PG County has mobile crisis. I used to work for them, who will come to your house in the midst of a mobile crisis and help you.
That's right. They will. Yes.
With with you or your adult or whoever it is, with someone that can help you, walk you through this. You don't have to walk alone. But why do we decide to keep our blinders on? So
I found this disorder, just to interject, I found those disorders. I was trying, you wanted the list. I want to show it's a list. Okay. I share some of them. Some of the mental health conditions that are out here: depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, psychotic episodes and first episode psychosis, schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, borderline personality disorders, co-occurring mental health conditions and substance use disorders, anosognosia. You heard that one, Lisa? Anosognosia. We laughed about it in class because none of us could pronounce it. It's anosognosia. Lack of insight. So it goes into, it will be a lot of reading, but that's just to share with people, just like there are different medical conditions, there are different and various types of mental health conditions, and they are hard to peg to treat.
They are. They can be, but they can be, especially on your own, which is why you're supposed to go to a doctor.
Yes.
Do sometimes start with their primary doctor, but I think it's really important to go to a counselor, a licensed professional. And I have to say, even though I've been doing this for 20 years, I didn't get licensed because I didn't want to. I don't want to be a counselor anymore. Or at least that's what I said. I might have a whole another plan because I didn't ever want to go into the field in the first place. But I also never thought that I would have a mental illness. And look what happened.
Look at
and mine, is not as, I guess, drastic as even some of the experiences you're experiencing. I didn't have to experience, but I do feel lonely. I do feel unsupported. I know that loves me. And then the main person, this is where I might start crying, that loved me and supported me regardless, is no longer here.
No longer here.
Yes. Say it without tearing up. Yes. So it's definitely a hard walk. So, your child is definitely blessed to have you in this process because you're willing to be educated. This platform is not just for you to tell your story, but it's also for you to be encouraged and know that you're doing what you need to do.
Thank you. I'm drinking it. I'm drinking just like I'm drinking this water.
Through the process. And you all
in this water.
Share it right now. Actually press the button share and please subscribe. Even right now, I'm going to keep on reminding you all because I need your help to be able to share this with other people. So other people
need it.
People
children are taking their lives. They need this. And parents need to know that they're not alone. One thing that was awesome about the NAMI classes were there were people there who, Lisa, you say you haven't experienced some of the stuff I experienced. There's some people where I haven't experienced what they have experienced.
Right. There's level.
And when I tell you, it depletes you.
It can.
It can. It can. It ain't. But there were people around me who just knowing that they have in the same life has given me some spiritual muscles. I mean, outside my family and friends. When I tell you, I'm gonna say the young family. The young family.
Shout out to the young family.
Shout out to the young family. Mommy, I mean, they made me young. They are some amazing people. But I wanted to go on here. I was looking for something. So call NAMI. Connect with their family to family. Mental health classes. You need to inform yourself. There's no way I can recall all of this information. I mean, this binder is huge, but I do know that I'm stronger because of it. I know that my spiritual muscles are stronger. I'm not going to lose my mind behind it. My loved one is going to be better. They already are better. Holly, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, when you have the information, understanding what your loved one is feeling, and those of you who please learn what your loved one has been diagnosed with, so you can help them. Them knowing that you're interested in what they're going through alone.
It's support. It is.
It carries them. It strengthens them.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk to them about it. It's okay. Like one of the things that we do, I don't know about everybody else's community, but African American community and the Christians. So that's a double whammy. We don't talk about it amongst each other. If we won't say, Angela, I found out that da. How do you? And I'm not talking about in a nosy way. I'm talking about the people that know your deepest, darkest. You can't necessarily share it with everybody. But even though we're being generic and yet we're being specific at the same time, you can't tell me that this conversation is not going to help anybody else. I know. Yes. And so that's a lie to say, well, I don't want to share my business. I understand it's scary to do so, but just knowing that there's somebody that that's going through this yourself helps you to excel. And it doesn't mean that the diagnosis, because everybody, just like some people die from cancer and they die from diabetes, and everybody doesn't get healed in the way that we would think.
We would want.
Get better. Hey, Brock, one of my friends said, how does someone prevent mental illness or maintain good mental health? I don't think, this is just what I've learned. I don't necessarily think that you can completely prevent it depending on circumstances. Like mine, a lot happened because of trauma and outside things that went to me. But in order to maintain good mental health, one of the things Angela said is good self-care. Like, you like movies, you like getting, I don't go get pedicures and manicures right now because I'm not going to nobody's salon, but that's just because of COVID. But I do it myself, if I have to give myself a massage, I sell doTERRA oils. And so the essential oils, sometimes I'm misting, whatever. If you like cooking, if you like dancing, there's so much technology out there that you can find things to do that will uplift you. We do have to encourage ourselves in the Lord. And sometimes that means, reading the word over and over and over again until you believe it, even though you don't see it. We walk by faith, but not by, it's not by what we see. And so those are some of the things: praying, exercising. Just got a trainer. Shout out to my cousin Ryan in Florida. He's a virtual trainer. So if y'all interested, let me know and I will give you the information. And so just to try to make sure that I am better, mind, body, and spirit, because they really are connected. We have to stop kind of compartmentalizing them. What do you think? How can one prevent or maintain mental
health? I want to be straight up. There are decisions that, like you said, trauma. There are things in our decisions as parents that traumatize our children. Mm-hmm. That's just, and I've been guilty of that. I have to say, I don't want to say the word guilt, but just my decisions have brought stress to my children over time. Now, I didn't do all this by myself now, but I'm certainly not going to play the blame game. I'm not going to do the blame game, but I do know that you have to make decisions in life for your children that will not bring trauma to them. Mm-hmm. Young women, be careful who you choose to be around your children. Pay attention. Pay attention. Heart at all times. Men, pay attention to the women that you bring around your children. There are women who abuse your children when you're not around, and there are men who will abuse your children when you're not around. And
please choose your child. Please choose your child. That other person can go.
That is the thing. That is, don't be in a rush to get in a relationship without blending your family under the Bible principles of God. Because you need to be sure that who you're selecting is not going to bring trauma to your children.
I'm laughing not because it's funny. I'm laughing because Nancy preaching. Y'all hear her, right?
It's peaceful when it was just you and your children. I'm talking to single fathers and single mothers. It's peaceful. You need to make sure you get Bible principles. Bring that joke or that young woman to church and put them before some men who can mentor them and some women who can mentor them, women who can mentor that woman. And you make sure you don't subject your children to rotten people.
Yes. We just kidding. I don't want nobody to be offended.
Right. What's that?
Joker. You said Joke. Bring the
Yeah,
Joker.
yeah.
I want y'all to know because they'll
I'm
be like,
Washingtonian by way of South Carolina. I'm Washingtonian by way of South Carolina. No, young men. I mean, seriously, please don't be in a rush.
Absolutely.
Slow down. I tell you, that thing will get in you, and you think you heard from God. And maybe you did, but you still do your research, baby. Do your research. Ask those tough questions now. I'm just coming from a place because you connect with people where they've been traumatized.
Ooh,
and
you
connect with new
people. Hurt
people. Don't I know about that for the past 16 years? But somebody say free.
Free.
Hey. Hallelujah. Slow down and ask those tough questions. And let me tell you another thing. Stop thinking people perfect. Just because you hear that people got mental health issues in their family, everybody don't have it. That woman or that man's still eligible. Let me say that. I just want
to have it. We still eligible.
Don't do people that way. Just like you can manage your blood pressure with medicine or diabetes or whatever illness, people can manage their lives and be productive and beautiful people.
Absolutely.
With proper medical regimens.
So I have to say, since you said that real quick, I have to put this. Dr. J, she's actually watching. One of the things that we talk about, we work together, and I appreciate that. She's like, Lisa, you present so well. So a lot of people know that I was dealing with any of it, but that's all God. I can't take glory for that. I'm very thankful, but it's still hard because when I tell people, then like you said, they'll either judge me or they'll back off from me because they don't know. Because I've had a really hard life. I know I don't look like it. It's still hard right now. I'm still going through right now. And so even doing these, bless me, because I know that I'm helping somebody else. So get out of your way. If you do happen to come upon that and you are a caregiver, then share with somebody else so that they know they're not in the struggle on their own. If you are the one that's being diagnosed, then also share with someone else as God leads. So that they know that they're not alone. We are not an island. We're supposed to be, and it says iron sharpens iron. So, I thank God it was a random conversation that, when I called, we talked, we had seen each other in the car during and I was like, so we reconnected, and she happened to open up. And I appreciate that you were willing enough to open up and know that I'm not going to run and tell. And I haven't. It's not my business to tell. I can just pray and I can support you. And I always told you I'm here if you need answer. I don't know but I know enough after 20 years of being a counselor and hearing other parents go through it, and then my own experience, and also, being a minister, although I'm not preaching right now. That's a whole different story. One day I might talk about it, but that's my choice. I wasn't kicked out of nothing. It was my decision. But as I heal, you know what I mean? I'm like, I've just been pouring into everybody else. So I need to find a different way to pour. And this is my different way to pour. It's still ministry to me. It's just a different way to minister. Yes. So if you could tell people one thing, let me ask this first. Do you see a difference in the way that you used to think about mental health and then when it happened to you, like not you per se, but having to go through this as being a parent, has it been a shift in your thinking or your thought process either way?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I mean, first repentance had to come. Because it was a time when I came up, I might look 25, y'all. But seriously, it used to be funny. My father was a pastor. Folks walk off the street. You didn't know then that because they came in dirty, smelling like urine, talking out that it was mental illness. Yeah. You thought there was some unworthy drunk that walked in off the street. Most people, what I learned in my class, who are on the street, it's because of mental illness. So I used to think it was funny. We would laugh. Not knowing then. My father had I don't know where his desire to love on mentally ill. He would go to St. E's. My father, late James E. Young, would go to St. Elizabeth with a van, load them up, and bring them to the church. Every Saturday, we observed the Sabbaths on Saturday, and he would make sure they got there, feed them. But that time it was funny. Even as in my 20s and 30s, I did not fully understand that there's a reason behind why people have the ability to be in the cold all night long, or they're walking the street talking to themselves. There's an imbalance going on in the brain. And if they just had medicine, or if they had the support, if they just had the love, they could become balanced and be productive, if that's the word productive, or because that's a journey all by itself. But I'm totally different. I have repented to the Lord. I've asked the Lord forgiveness. I've repented. There's nothing else I could do. Now that I realize my father doing that, bringing the mentally ill to church, that was preparing me even for what I'm experiencing now. If it had not been that for that and celebration of life, please, Lisa, continue to do that. I would have.
You mean bring it back? I stopped it. I
don't know what in the world you did that for. I don't know what in the world. You forgot the testimonies that would come before.
No, but that's how this started, though, because I wasn't doing it this year. And then, nobody was going to church anyway, and I'm not really going. It's a lot. We'll have to talk about that off camera. This is just a way to celebrate life. That's how September started. And then in May, we're doing the Ministers Forum, where we invite ministers and therapists, because one of the things that I found is that a lot of times the biggest trigger for me was my current pastor, but pastors, ministers, evangelists, teachers, people who's supposed to know the word, but they didn't know anything about the mental health illness. Like, you can't tell me, and I will say this to every minister in their face, most of the ministers I know are not equipped to deal with mental health issues. I went to school for it. I have a master's degree in it, but most of them, and they only dealt with the spiritual. And so they would say things thinking they were helping, but it would trigger me, inspire me down into a deep, dark hole where I did not want to come out. And I would call my friends who knew. One of my friends, Ashley Burton, she's been on this. She's a part of the Stigma Breakers. I do that also every first Wednesday of the month. It's a group of us who want to help break the stigmas, and we have conversations. And I called her crying because a minister had said something. First of all, he called me out in front of the whole church, and he was like, "You will not have depression anymore." And although I talk about this, I don't tell everybody. That's my business. And so literally God had me call him and tell him and say, would you do that? And I found that he worked in healthcare. And I was like, so he couldn't tell nobody about a physical illness. Why are you telling people about a mental illness? And I felt like Scarlett's letter in front of the church. I was bawling. It was horrible for me. And another minister friend of mine, she was just like, when I told her, she was like, you were just embarrassed, as if it was okay. I don't care if it was embarrassed. It was still my business. Yes. And so I don't mind people sharing, because like, this is out there for the world.
Yeah, at least hold on.
It's out there for the world to hear, because it's on my YouTube page. Yeah. But be careful. And I don't say it lightly. I can handle it. But if you're supporting me, support me. And then what got me after all that, everybody else he ministered to, he did it silently in their ear. God showed me a valuable lesson that day. First of all, he used me, because I'm sure that he probably didn't think anybody was ever going. I don't care who it is. If somebody is embarrassing you when it comes to your illnesses, then you have a right to confront them in love. And I did that. I went through my pastor first, because I had to get the information and, go through this whole process. And I'm cool with it. I've forgiven him. And he admitted, you know what? I would not have done that if it was, my physical illness. I do need to watch. So ministers, if y'all are watching, if y'all know a minister that needs to see this, share this with them now. Let them see it. Let them hear. We still have to care for people who have mental health diagnosis, just like we would someone with the physical health diagnosis.
Yes.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Pat. She said that she went through that. And he didn't know how to handle and minister. It is very upsetting, and it's very hurtful. We still have to forgive, though, every time, even when our family talks about us, even when we laugh at people because we don't know. I've done stuff and said stuff, and it was wrong, and I didn't know that it was wrong at the time. But thank God for repentance.
Yes.
Thank God. I hope that you, even though you didn't go back to him, I hope that you have spoken to him, because we got to clear the air. We have to have the conversations. The one thing I learned from that, And like I said, this was random because I didn't plan on talking about this. And I hope that he's watching. Like I said, I don't have any ill will towards him whatsoever. And we're cool. We spoke about it. It's good. But it was a valuable lesson, I think, for both of us. For pastors to know that you don't just call out stuff in prayer lines openly. You just like you wouldn't, you wouldn't tell the whole church that such as was dealing with cancer unless they told you to. So why would you about because and the thing is, most of the time when you have a mental illness, there's a fragility there. People are fragile. You have to be careful, not walk on eggshells, but be careful and just get their permission first. So anyway, in May, we do this symposium where we have pastors and ministers come together, church leaders, and have conversations.
Can't wait. Yes.
May 15th, I believe, is the date. And so y'all follow me so you can get more information. You're welcome. Benny said, thanks for having this dialogue. Thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
So it's necessary. It's necessary. And I'm glad that you had the aha moment. But sometimes you got to go through it to get to the aha moment.
Yes.
But God can still heal just like that.
Yes. Come on, Lord.
He's still able to heal, right? He is. My friend told me to pull out, girls. I got Think and Grow Rich. He made me pull out the book. If you haven't read this book, it's just for me. Riches is not even just about money, but about wellness. But it's making me challenge my thought process. And I've had that book for years. My cousin Earl gave it to me years ago, and I was like, okay. And I started reading it. I don't think I ever finished. Now I'm determined to finish it. I know I have to change some things in 2021 so that I can be a better Lisa, so that I can even do this with a easier heart. There's days where I've been on here and gotten off and been depressed, and no one knew. Gotten off and still been having suicidal thoughts, and no one knew, Angela, because there's very few people that I can be honest about the struggle with.
Yes.
So what would you want people to do differently, knowing what you know now and what you've experienced now?
As in people who live
as a caregiver,
caregiver,
your whole experience as a caregiver, or as just someone who understands now differently and sees things differently, like just in general.
Educate yourself. I mean, NAMI.org. That's the answer I have for you. NAMI.org. Now, the unfortunate thing is what has happened, is that mental health, mental illness is on the rise in our young people, right? Mm-hmm. So stand up. Don't give up when you reach out to NAMI and the resources are scarce. Just please don't be lazy. You can't be lazy being a caregiver now. You've got to be on top of this thing, and you can't give up. I mean, don't give up. Just go on the website, NAMI.org, family to family, sign up for these classes, educate yourself. It may be months out before you get in. Just pray and ask God to keep you and reach out to us. I'll be available. You want someone to call and talk to, reach out to. You see my at Fire for Life, at Fire for Life on Instagram. Reach out to me, but NAMI.org is where I want to direct. Educate yourself, because I promise you, you know nothing about mental illness, and it's not as daunting. It's going to be hard to take in that people live with it, but when you educate yourself on any level, it empowers you, right? It elevates your mind. It gives you a confidence in knowing if I can look at my loved one, and whereas before their eyes buck, I'm thinking they just been a defiant child. I'm ready to do what parents do when your child buck. I'm not ready to go in. But when you're educated on the matter, okay, that's not my baby right there. That's something else. That's the illness that has surfaced. So educate yourself, please. NAMI.org. NAMI.org. Please.
Yes. I put it in there. And so you were saying, what's your FIYA? Is that how you do it?
FIYA. Yes.
For
number 4, life, LYFE.
So just Fire for Life, FI.
Fire for Life. Uh-huh.
You would think I would know it.
It's on, and it's also on the flyer. Lisa was nice. She put it sweetly on the very nice flyer, by the way, my sister.
Instagram. Okay.
Self-care.
I have to say that's my brother, because he was like, Lisa, you should use Canva. And so there's a whole bunch of things that you could do on I'm just this education. It didn't go through. I don't know. Sorry. All one of them. I just want to make sure y'all can see this. Okay. And that's how you find Angela Fire for Life. And you can tag, like a lot of people forget, because I'm an independent artist, just like you would go on Instagram and Facebook and you would find somebody else's music, you can add my music. And that also helps me get paid. So I appreciate that. When you all stuff, you can, so I was using my song on that flyer. So
wow.
Music, type me in, Lisa Gilliam, and all my songs are there. So y'all go do that, okay? Next time you post a flyer, go ahead and help your sister out. But my brother was like, Lisa, you should get a Canva and you should do da da da. And I was like, okay. And so he helped me. That I can't take any credit, but that's how the flyer was created.
Wow. Okay, gotcha.
We are learning
Get that.
things. Y'all entrepreneurs out there, go ahead and do what you do. Is there anything else that while you're doing that, I also gotta tell people again how you can find me. I'm just gonna scroll that at the bottom so you all can see. So I should have some new followers today, and Angela should have some new followers today. YouTube subscriptions today, and hopefully some CD sales right today.
Yes.
But they said you have not been fast not. So, and then if you like essential oils, y'all can check out my doTERRA page, but it's also on my website. So I'm looking for y'all to find this, because this is what helps me do things like this. Because I got to.
Speaking of oils, can I expound on that?
Yes.
It's good to get for your loved one something like this. I get it for myself too, because I'm on the journey with them.
Okay.
Diffuser, because certain oils, especially
help with their mood.
Help with their moods. Lavender is one that is for calming. So that's something, just a tip that you can buy your loved one with. Lisa says she's selling essential oils. Lavender is one that will calm them. Also, play for them calming music. We know that we're dealing with spirit and medical conditions. Some cases it's just spirit, and some things just need to be cast out, and they can be, like you said. One thing that I do, if you're a Bible believer and enjoy worship music, on my TV downstairs, I put on different gospel art. I just put it on praise and worship and let it play through my house all day. So only the Spirit of the Lord can dwell. So that's just that's a weapon I use that I want to share.
So yes, I put that in the chat too, so you all can see that. Sister Justin, and so like I said, you can go to doTERRA, please. They have everything. I would appreciate your business on top of that, but it does help. They have one called Cheer. They have another one called Elevate. I do doTERRA, but I know a lot of people do other kinds. It to me, it doesn't matter which way or which kind you decide to do. I just, if you think it's going to help, then please go ahead and just.
So is Terra, quickly, I know we're about to end, but Terra is what?
doTERRA.com. That's the essential oil company.
Okay. I think I've heard of them. Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're up there with some people do Young Living. I don't have a problem with promoting other people too, but that's one that I do. So I'm just trying to find. There was a comment. Hold on. Beautiful Anointing said yes. So I appreciate you all joining us. Pray that you learned something, that something, stuck with you today. We should see this all over Instagram and Facebook. This is on my Facebook page too. So if you are on a friend of mine on Facebook, you can share it that way as well. And Twitch. And then I put the flyer on TikTok. Like y'all gonna see me all over. I'm gonna promote it.
We see your album on iTunes?
It's on my website. It is on iTunes. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal.
How do I look it up? What is it?
Lisa Gilliam, just
because I better do it now, because the brand.
Okay. And then Dr. J said peppermint, yin yang, lemongrass also elevate your mood. I love lemongrass.
Oh, I like that. Okay, yin. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Peppermint. We have that. I have peppermint and lemongrass. I don't have yin yang.
Yeah, my loved one uses peppermint and lavender for most cases. Yeah.
Yeah. And so these are all good. Thank you, Dr. J. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
I appreciate you all for watching. I appreciate you all for asking questions and sharing. Thank you. Patricia said this was so good, impacting lives. Love you all. Have a good night. Thank you so much, Pat. I appreciate it. I miss you.
Love you, Patricia. A woman of God, minister. Evangelist, right?
I know both y'all are. I don't call my friends by title, so it's no respect.
Not going
I just,
Pentecostal, so that's all we do. We call each other bishop, evangelist, whatever. It's just
I know.
we do. Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Thank you all so much for joining us. Angela, you stay there and hold out, hang out with me for a second. You all have a wonderful night. And I won't see y'all until, thank you, that's me. Yes. Both past, the present, and depend. And also God Delivered Me, which is the single. All of them are on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, All Music, Amazon Music. So yeah, you don't have no excuse. Go ahead and help your sister out. I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Tamara O said, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Y'all go tell somebody, hey, Tracy, she went to Union with me. Thanks for joining. We appreciate it. Y'all go share this with somebody. I know it's somebody that you know that might have a mental illness. We want them to be healed. But until the manifestation comes, let's be forward. All right. Yeah. Have a wonderful one. Have a happy new year and start looking for Sundays. I'm doing Sing a Song Sunday because I realized, my YouTube page is actually an official artist page, but I wasn't singing. Oh, that's what I want to do. You want to sing a song, like a little bit of a...
Yes, girl. You start out coming with the harmony.
I want you to sing.
I'm follow you. You good at methods, girly. You are.
But it's hard to do online when you're virtual. But can you just sing a little bit of He's Able, since we talked about that real quick, and then we're gonna close out. Just God is able to do.
God is able to do just what He said He would do.
Yes.
He's going to fulfill every promise to you.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Don't you give up on God, 'cause He won't give up on you. He's able.
Yes, He is able. That's what I'm talking about. I spelled New Year wrong, but y'all know we get it. Tamara said, sing, auntie. So thank you all for joining. One Singing Lady out. We'll see you in the new year.
New year, baby.
Live, okay? And like, share, and subscribe this with other people. I meant to say year, so y'all just forget about the misspelled word. Thank y'all. Have a